You're wearing your professional blazer. You've got your portfolio clutched so tight your knuckles are white, and you're reciting your philosophy of education in your head like a mantra. Then the principal looks at you and asks, "Tell us about a time you had a difficult interaction with a parent." Your mind goes blank. You suddenly forgot every student that you've ever taught. If you've ever had interview amnesia, this episode is going to be for you.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Teachers on the Loose, the podcast where we turn teacher tales into belly laughs and life lessons. I'm Allison.
I'm Celeste.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Kristen.
Today, we're stepping into the hot seat. We're talking all things teacher interviews, whether you're a brand new grad looking for your first classroom or a veteran teacher ready for a fresh start. We've got you covered. We're sharing our interview stories, our best tips for prepping, and how to keep a growth mindset through it all. It's time to talk about how to get hired without losing your mind.
Let's do it. Okay, so since this is an interview episode, our check-in question is interview style. Are you ready?
No, I'm scared.
You should be.
Mindset, but let's do this.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Walk us through your week. What were your highlights and what were your challenges?
Well, I had a really great week. I had many highlights and a few challenges. I'll start off with the challenges. So I went on a field trip with a bunch of kindergartners, and it was a great experience. But there was some challenges. I had 4 students in my group that were really excited about the field trip, but that led to the highlights of my week of helping those students work through some of those challenges together and helping them to learn new things at the field trip.
Can you give a specific example of how you helped those boys with their challenges, please?
I sure can. So at the field trip, one of the sections is different musical instruments. And I had 4 boys in my group, and there was 4 xylophones, and but there was already some students there. So we had to talk about being patient and waiting for your turn, and then how to ask for a turn. And just those challenges of learning how to share and using kind words.
Very good. She's hired. Let's hire her.
You're hired.
I should have, in hindsight, I should have put the example in with my first answer.
Yeah.
So a little reflection there. It's okay.
Allison, walk us through your highlights and challenges.
This week, I would say one of my challenges was on the first day of the week. My students were just really chatty, interrupting during our instructional time. They were just really off task on Monday. And so to overcome that challenge, I started a new point system with them where they could earn minutes towards Free Friday. And so the highlight was that I dropped off my students on Friday, picked them up, and my PE teacher goes, "I don't know what you did, but Monday they got a 7 out of 10, and the rest of the week they were all 10s. So whatever you're doing with them, keep it up because they are amazing in PE." And so I felt like it was a moment where I had an impact on how my students were going to be able to receive directions and follow directions.
Nice. Yes.
Beautiful.
So Kristen, walk us through your week. What were your challenges and what were your highlights?
A challenge for me for now, the students are getting really comfortable with each other, and they are tending to tattletale on each other for the simplest thing. Like, he touched the wall, he looked at me weird. And so I met with my learning coaches.
Good job
and
throwing
Allison.
that in there.
Yes. And they suggested doing a bug and a wish. And so I taught that to my class, that if a behavior that someone is showing is bugging you, let them know. And then wish is the part where this is what you would like them to do different. So I taught that to my class, and now when they do come to tell on someone, they come up to me, I'm like, "Did you do a bug and a wish?" And they're like, No, I'm like, well, this is how I would say it to this person. Because, they're 5 and 6 years old. So they don't really know how to say that yet. So I just kind of offer suggestion. This is how I would do it. And then the other day I heard someone say, hey, we need to do a bug and a wish. Like I could hear their conversation. So they're now trying to incorporate that into how they talk to one another, how they interact with one another. So it was a challenge and now it's turning into a success. So I'm loving that. Bug and a wish. So thank you, learning coaches.
Yay. Gold star. All right, Celeste, walk us through your week. What were your highlights and your challenges?
As a learning coach, anytime I get a chance to be in a classroom teaching is a highlight of my week. And I got to do it multiple times this week. And it brought me so much joy. I got to teach a first grade WIN group with 18 children, which doesn't feel like a small group, but it was a small group. And we started reciprocal teaching. And so we practiced being superhero predictors, and it was so much fun. And then I got to go in a second grade class and do a Kagan activity. And we were working on some team building and class building, and we did the We Like activity. And so anytime I can be in the classroom modeling for teachers and hanging out with kids is a highlight for me.
What is the We Like strategy? What did they do?
In the book, it's a triangle. And so you're supposed to find things that everybody in your group likes.
Okay.
I modified it to just a 2-column. So they sat in groups of 4, and one column said some of us like, and the other one said all of us like.
Oh,
and so
very
it would
nice.
start with, I like pickles. And if everybody liked pickles, we would put pickles in the everybody.
Oh, I like
And then
that.
if you said, I like axolotls, and if only some of us liked it, we'd put it in the some of us.
Okay.
And the idea is to find commonalities so that you can create a team name and have an identity as a team for working together.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really good. I would say a challenge that I had this week just came with timing. And sometimes the timing of things doesn't match up with my plans. And so I had to really sit back and reflect on, are we trying to force a square peg into a round hole? Is this the right time with the right work with the right team? Or do we need to just pause? And so I did some reflecting and realized, you know what? Not the right time. Pause. So that was my
Good
week.
job.
Thanks.
You're hired.
I feel like this is a rough lesson.
Yeah, I just thought because normally I would jump in and be like, oh, yeah, that sounds great, Kristen. But I was like really trying to interview. Like that was a hard check-in.
I know.
Because
I didn't like that.
in an interview, we just sit and listen and nod and smile. And
Take notes.
so that's what we were doing just then. That was kind of hard because normally we'd be like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. So good job, Kristen, for,
Yeah.
But we couldn't give any feedback. So that was a hard check-in.
That was.
All right. So
I don't think that there's really clapping that happens at an interview though.
know.
And
We did say
we did
gold
clap
star
and say you're
We don't
hired.
hire you right
We
away.
weren't a good interview team, like,
No.
on the other
that
side
was
of
a
the
bad
table.
example of how to be an interviewer.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So let's think back to all the interviews you've done in all your life. Are you thinking? Mm-hmm. So what's a non-teaching interview that you remember or that you were a part of?
Well, I remember I went to an interview where you had 5 people that are being interviewed all sitting in a circle and there's one interviewee. And so we all had to answer questions in a circle. Like we all had to take turns and answer questions.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
Yes.
The other 5 people were trying to get the same job you were getting?
Yes.
And you all heard each other's answers?
Oh my.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
It was weird. I had to mentally prepare myself because it was going to be a little bit of a challenge. I've never since had an interview like that before. And I was okay. I did okay with my answers. I did get asked back after that interview. Then when it was just me, I don't know if I didn't do a good job, but they didn't hire me. But it was a little weird walking into the room.
Wow.
Yeah, and all of
So
us
wait,
sitting there.
Would they ask one question and then everybody would have to answer the same question? Because,
Yes.
So then
Yes.
what would the second person say? Ditto?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like
I
how
know.
weird is that?
It was
That
very
is really
weird. Yeah. I don't remember all the details. It's been many years, but it was
What was the company? Just curious because I had a similar experience with Cutco Cutlery.
Did you sell knives?
I did not.
You didn't get hired
I got hired, and then I quit
before you sold a single knife?
before I sold a single knife.
We still
Okay,
have those.
here's the story of this one. I moved to Colorado. I had my teaching license for North Dakota, but not for Colorado yet. I was working on that, but I needed money.
Yeah.
So this was back when they had these things called newspapers.
Oh. The
And
olden
you would get the want ads and you would
Yeah.
circle the different. So I called because it said come and be a salesperson for like sporting goods. And so I was like, well, I've worked at a camp before. I could sell sporting goods. This is going to be a good gig. And then I get to this like weird like hotel conference room, and they had us all sitting in there, and they took us in one at a time though. But then they narrowed us down, and then I came back out, and then there was only like 3 people there, and then we went in, and then they narrowed us down, and then it was weird. I get this phone call saying, okay, so you got the job. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we want you to come to training at another hotel conference room. And I was like, where am I working? Like,
Yeah.
what is my physical address? And they were like, well, you don't have a physical address because you will be given a set of knives to go door to door to sell the knives. And I was like, I didn't know what I was signing up for, so I'm going to respectfully decline your position.
Nice job.
So I was technically offered a position, but I didn't accept it.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never sold knives. I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond and as a caterer prior to teaching.
Wait, Bed Bath & Beyond had catering?
No, it's 2 separate things.
Oh.
I worked for a caterer for weddings, and I got to like carry the food out. There you go.
Did you have to like dress all fancy with like a button-up white shirt and
As a roadie,
what?
the Texas Roadhouse.
Oh,
Oh.
Do you know during that interview process, you have to take a test?
like a
What kind of
handwritten worksheet? Like
No, like you have to memorize the menu and then the questions that you ask after someone orders something. There's like a follow-up of things depending on what they order.
okay.
You have to know all the sides. You have to know all the ways that steaks are cooked. You had to know the table arrangement of the restaurant.
Oh,
so
wow.
like every table has a number. And so if you were a runner, you needed to know what table 112 was. So yeah, you had to pass a test.
Wow.
And that was all before you got hired. You needed to know all this before you got hired.
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
that's crazy.
That's
Mine were very informal at Bed Bath & Beyond and catering. It was like just a sit and chat. And I had just shopped at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I had like bags full of towels. And they're like, one of the questions was like, oh, why do you want to work here? I was like, well, I like shopping here.
So I guess
What's my
maybe-
discount?
I'm only here for the discount. And they're like, you're hired. No, that's awesome.
So let's think back to all the interviews you've done in all your life. Are you thinking? What's standing out to you the most? Is there an interview that you were like, gosh, I nailed it? Or is there one that you're like, I never want to walk back into that room again?
I think my memorable experience was like after I graduated, when you're interviewing in a bunch of places. And I didn't realize it at the time, but there were some schools that like just, it didn't feel like the right fit for me, you know? And then I went and interviewed at the school that I was at for a long time. And I remember leaving the interview just feeling like, oh, I hope this works out. This felt like a good fit. The people felt like good people. And you know how you just like get a good feeling from a place or an experience. So I think like now, years later, thinking about it and like thinking about new teachers going to do interviews, like it has to be a good fit for both, right? It's and so when it's meant to work out, it'll work out for the right reason. And like after those first few that I didn't get, I remember feeling like so sad, like, oh, this just didn't work out, but it didn't work out for a reason. It wasn't meant to. So
I had an interview where I came to the interview dressed in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops.
I don't think
To be a
that
teacher?
you're supposed
Yep.
to do that. I think you're supposed to dress professionally.
I
Krista.
know. It was the end of summer and I had a softball game and I got a phone call as I was walking to the field from a principal saying, hey, can you come in for an interview? And I was like, I actually have to play a softball game right now. I can't come right now. And he's like, so come after your softball game. Don't worry about changing your clothes. Just come as you are. I'm like, okay. So
Wow.
I think it was at 7 o'clock at night. It was totally dark. I'm standing outside of the school in my flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt. And he let me in. And it was the most like laid back, casual interview. And within an hour of getting home, he offered me a job. And I started the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very last minute.
turnaround.
My first job in this district, I got hired midway through teachers coming back, at the end of summer.
So when we moved back to Colorado from Florida, it was a quick move. Like we had decided, okay, we're going to pack it up and we're going to go back to Colorado. And I was like, man, that means like it's May. I need to be looking for a job right now. Because if I wait until we get there, all the good jobs are going to be taken. And so I had to, this was before COVID. This was like before people did a lot of online stuff. I had to do an interview online.
Oh.
And that was really awkward.
Yeah.
That is different.
Yeah.
But it worked.
It did. I got the
hired.
job.
That's
Sure did.
awesome. Maybe.
Okay.
I love it. Okay. Does anybody have a really memorable interview question or a question that like still haunts you?
I don't think that it haunts me, but the one that I don't know how they took it, but afterwards I just remember being like, I hope that they felt my heart, not my desperation. No, but because it was when I was interviewing for the first school that I was at in this district, and I just really wanted it like in my bones. That morning I got up and I hit the floor on my knees and I was just praying, God, if this is your will, let it be done, because this is what I think I want for me. And I just want this job so badly. And I went into the interview and the last question they asked was, do you have any questions for us? And I just remember being like, what is it that you're looking to fill on this team? And they were like, we're looking for somebody who's a team player, who's going to be able to be creative and have fun with this grade level and to be able to jump in. And I didn't know how to be like, yeah, that's me, I can do that. And I didn't want to come across as desperate. I just wanted to come across as, yes, that can be me. So anyways, that was a memorable question for me.
I remember a question where I had to share qualities about myself, but from the perspective of like different people, like a parent, a colleague, a student, and all these different people. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, was mentally counting how many qualities I had to share, and I had to share 2 per person. And I was just like, I have to think of like 15 qualities. I had like a solid 2 in my head. And then I wanted to share like 15 different qualities.
Right.
And I was just like panicking, thinking, oh my gosh, I have to talk about myself so much right now. This is great, but that's part of it. But it's just I still remember that question.
I had
didn't
never
know that.
been an interventionist before and honestly had no clue how to be an interventionist or anything. So I knew going in it was not probably the right fit, but it was just the exposure of the interview. But I remember coming from Florida where things are different education wise. They put some data in front of me and said, what interventions specifically would you use for this student? And I remember panicking because I was like, well, I know what I would do from Florida, but like, I don't know if you guys use those things here. And I don't know if that's even relevant. So I remember I stumbled all the way through that question. And I was like, okay, well, based on what I know from Florida, I would do this, this, and this. So it was a tough one because I don't think I did my research very well, which is also something you should do when you're interviewing is look at what curriculum they use, look at what interventions they have, and be prepared.
That's for sure.
I was just going to say, we've been kind of really serious. Let's go a little lighthearted. What do you wear for an interview? Like, is there a teacher uniform that you wear?
Allison had it hanging in her closet for over a year.
I did. So I knew that I was potentially applying to one of the new schools that was being built in town, and I knew what their school colors were. And so I got a solid color shirt underneath and then the other color for the cardigan. And then I decided that I was going to wait a year to apply. And so I had to dust it off when it was time for me to actually go and interview. So, yeah.
So school colors and
School
a blazer.
I did
School
the cardigan.
Cardigan.
I didn't do the blazer. I did the cardigan.
I don't think I had an actual uniform, but I just wore like nice pants and a sweater because it was winter time when I interviewed last.
Yeah.
I think I wore a dress. That's when I break out the dresses. I am a khaki pants, jeans, t-shirt kind of teacher. I broke out the dress.
Yeah. I wore a blazer to one of my most recent ones. I think I've wore like nice shirt and nice pants.
Because when we're interviewing, as we watch potential teachers come in, as long as you dress professional, it doesn't have to be a dress. It doesn't have to be a cardigan or a blazer. Just look professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't stroll up in a hoodie and some leggings.
Or shorts and a t-shirt.
Although you got hired in shorts and a t-shirt and some flip-flops. So
We've talked about our experiences are different, but teacher advice or tips.
We have all been in the interview process on the other end for many, many years now. We technically can't ask you specific questions that we use, but I like going to either Pinterest or now you can go to ChatGPT and just type in what are some possible interview questions. So that's something I would do if I were applying for a job.
absolutely. And then if you have someone who will sit and listen to you or ask those questions to you so you can practice answering them out loud, I would do that. I've had several student teachers come and we've done mock interviews and we've timed it and we've talked about pacing and elaborating on answers more. It's a good thing to do.
Yep. One of the tips that I always tell new teachers is prior to an interview, think of all the different buckets of things that you will get asked. Behavior, classroom management, something to do with reading instruction, math instruction, right? There's so many different buckets. Think through your answer or think through your philosophy on whatever it is, and then think of an example that shows how you do that in the classroom. That way, when you get into the interview, no matter how they frame the question around behavior, you have something in your head. You have some sort of answer or an example that aligns to that bucket.
That is a great tip.
Going into the interview, also be prepared that you might have to explain a lesson or demonstrate a lesson or look at data, or you might be asked to do a performance task of some kind. And so just to be prepared for that so that you're not like, oh, I thought this was just going to be questions and you get flustered. Just know that they can throw whatever at you and just be confident that this is going to be a part of my job. I can do this. And if you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know, but I'm really excited to learn this.
Yeah, I think one of the important things is we want to see your personality. We want to see who you are as a teacher. We're not necessarily looking for a perfect, correct, right answer, but we want to see who you are and how you learn, how you reflect, how you are going to grow.
And that starts the second you walk into the building. Anytime you are in that building, it's part of your interview. Talking to the secretary, walking down the hallway, interacting with other teachers.
If you sub in the building or you visit the building, all part of...
Yeah, it's like an on-the-job interview, right?
Yep. And you kind of get a feel when you walk into the building, like you, Kelsey, at our school. You're like, this is where I want to be. And I feel like when I know where I want to be, I tend to not be as nervous. I kind of relax a little bit more. I mean, doing interviews, you're so nervous. You're sweating. Your brain doesn't work. But try your best to relax. You have to be able to answer those questions because, yes, they are looking to see how you answer the questions. But they, like you said, Kelsey, they want to see if your personality will be a good fit. And you kind of are doing the same thing. Are you a good fit for this school? And so that kind of helps me to relax. When I see people that I really liked in the interview, I'm like, I got this. I can do this. So
I remember it wasn't a specific question that went wrong. It was a whole interview that went wrong for me one time.
tell me more.
Yeah. So this is when I was a baby teacher and I got an interview at a school and they said, come prepared to teach a science standard. And this
was all they said?
particular grade.
Okay.
And I said, okay, sounds good. So I had to teach first and then do the interview part. So I walk in there with 25 copies, 32 students in the classroom.
Oh,
some children are sharing a chair.
Oh, wow.
And then I went up to the doc camera and the doc camera wasn't working. And they were like, what are you going to do? And I was like, oh, you know what? We're going to pivot. And so like they had specifically pulled kids from another classroom to see,
Sabotaged you.
well, to see how am I going to
Yeah.
deal with this, right? Anyway, I got flustered and I was like, can you go make copies? And they're like, no. And mind you, there's a panel of people in the back row
Oh, man.
of adults up against the back wall just watching me. And they're like, no, I can't go make copies for you because I'm in the interview process right now. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, you two are going to share and you two are going to share. And I'm like trying to keep going. And meanwhile, you have to show that you have time management. So now I'm running out of time because I was trying to solve the dock camera problem. And so finally, I spitballed the whole lesson. And at the time, my experience was early childhood. And this was like for a 3rd grade class. Anyway, I was like teaching them a song about the 7 C's and like it like very preschoolish because I was spitballing, right? And so then I went into the interview and the principal looked at me and she goes, you tell me, how do you think that went? And I said, not very good. And I'm just going to be honest with you. And she goes, tell me why you think I should hire you. And I was like, here's the deal. I don't have experience in 3rd grade, but how will I get experience in 3rd grade unless I have experience in 3rd grade? So what you need to know about me is that I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to try. I want to know more. I just had to spitball, and my background is early childhood. But if I got the 3rd grade position, I would start working on 3rd grade materials and that would soon be my background knowledge. And she was like, oh, okay.
That's a good way to answer it, right? Because there's going to be things that you might not have an answer for. You might not know how to approach in the interview. But to be like, hey, this is my personality. I'm going to be willing to learn and jump in.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
It did not go well. I was literally bright red and sweating profusely. Like it was gross. It was like I just wanted to get out of there.
It is
I'm
hard.
surprised I didn't cry. No, I'm just kidding.
I did not have a similar experience like that. I probably would have walked out. But during an interview, I was interviewing for a kindergarten job, not the current job that I have, but at a different school. And the teacher had pinto beans as a reward system. And I felt like that was just a hot mess because beans and kindergartners, I mean, they were going to spill all over the table because she had them on the table for whenever they did something well or whatever, she would reward them with beans in like a cup. And so the kids just thought it was the best thing ever because I was teaching a lesson. Somebody knew this is fun for us. And I had them on the rug and it was time to do a math lesson at the table. So I had them go back to the table, but somehow a thing of beans fell over. And another kid was like, oh, I'll help. So like, of course in kindergarten, they're like, shoo, like 10 kids are like helping you. And you're like, that now I have way too many helpers. I had one kindergartner like lifting up half the table to help me get the beans back into one cup, which then proceeded to spill all the other beans in the other cups. And then I had more helpers and I was sweating and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm failing right now. It was a hot mess. I don't know how we all recovered, but I'm like that as I'm teaching the math lesson after that got all fixed, that was in my mind like, oh my gosh, I did not do well with that. And I did not get that job.
What about shifting gears? So we've talked about the interview process, but what about the stuff before the interview? Because sometimes if you mess up on that part, you don't even get the interview.
Ooh, yeah. Good question.
So there's a pretty lengthy process online where you have to answer questions and fill out your history and
Resume.
put your resume in there.
Cover letter.
Yeah. What are some telltales of either this was awesome or goo?
Well, I think you should have to, at minimal, have correct spelling and punctuation.
Yeah. That is.
And grammar.
And grammar.
We are in the age of AI. Use that to your advantage, but
But also keep the human in it because you can tell when something's AI'd, right?
yeah.
But use AI, but then make it your own.
Yeah, for sure.
Use it as like a springboard.
How many pages is too many for a resume?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like 2 is okay.
Yeah.
They
I wouldn't go over
yeah.
that. But here's the thing. You don't have to put every job you've ever done. Think about the job you're applying for and tailor your experiences on your resume to that. you don't need everything listed.
So if I was going for like a learning coach job, I shouldn't put that I, in high school, waited tables at
Texas
restaurants. Yeah.
Unless that experience did something to prepare you for this current job, and then you could kind of frame the things you write on there in line to the job.
Fair.
What about like when you're applying, there's always questions. What's your tips for teachers and how they write their responses? I think it's helpful to like, you have to answer the question, but also tie it to like your experience and give a concise answer, right? We don't need a page, but something concise that answers the questions, shares your experience, has good grammar and good paragraph flow, right? Mm-hmm. You still need all of that, but yeah.
So bottom line, check your grammar and spelling, people. It's important in all areas.
And I don't think it hurts to put the mascot and the school colors on your cover letters.
It is a nice touch because you're like, oh, this person has researched our school. This person wants to be at our school. Mm-hmm. That is kind of a neat little extra touch.
Okay, we're going to play a little game. Let's lighten things up around here. Okay, it's called the Interview Blitz. Ready? Rapid fire. Handshake or a friendly wave?
Handshake.
Hug.
Oh, Kristen, come on. Are you
way.
Of all people who would say hug? Like,
absolutely
seriously?
not. You are not giving it.
I'm kidding.
We're not believing
Handshake.
Is the handshake firm to where it like squeezes super hard or like flimsy and soft?
No, medium.
Somewhere in the middle.
And look them in the eye.
Okay.
And then use your pointer finger to scratch their palm. They like that. They do. They like it a lot. I'm just kidding.
Arrive 5 minutes early or 15 minutes early?
15.
You got to breathe in the car and give yourself a pep talk. Make sure your face looks good.
You're in
you
the
know
right
all
spot.
the things. Yeah.
You have all your things. Yeah.
Portfolio or no portfolio?
I think it's going to depend on what they told me to bring.
Yeah.
Like, I'll ask them.
They didn't ask you to bring anything. Portfolio or no portfolio?
Send a digital link prior to the interview, like part of your application.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you bring a snack or no snack?
No
snack.
Snack in the car.
What if you're offered a snack at the table?
I'm too nervous to eat.
What if it's
I wouldn't.
Part of the questions?
low key part of the question?
Oh, I would fail that.
Then I would accept and say thank you.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know. You think it's weird that people offer food in an interview?
I do. I'd just be afraid that I would swallow wrong and then start coughing and then be like, we need to save myself. And then they're like, we got another interview coming up, so just go ahead and go.
Your face is red and you got tears coming out. Yeah.
I hate that.
Well, because they always offer you water and I just have it in front of me. I never open it. I'm just like, thanks. Yeah.
A thank you email or a handwritten note?
Email.
Handwritten note.
Wow.
No, mine was handwritten.
Look at you. Good job.
Sure did. Handed it to Shelly right when I left. I was like, here you go.
Oh, before you even left?
Before
You're like,
I
you
even
had
left,
it?
I had it written. And
Oh
I was
my
like, will you give
gosh.
this to Sheila also, please? Thank you.
Wow.
Good job.
Good tip.
It is a good tip. Is it easier to interview in front of strangers or in front of people you know?
Strangers.
I think strangers too. Because people you know will know if you're making things up.
Oh, dang.
I don't make stuff
Well, there's
up.
also
I'm
just a
kidding.
different level of pressure.
Yeah.
There is.
I will
people you know.
say, I had to sit on an interview where Kristen was on the table being interviewed, and I just didn't even make eye contact with her.
I know. It was really weird. I was like, is she mad at me? She's not even looking at me. And then I forgot an answer to one of the questions, and she
Pushed you through it.
Yes, that.
Here's the thing is I feel like the people that I know, I respect them so much that I want to form well for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their opinion means so much more to me than a stranger.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So you like really respect the relationship more so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Toddles, we had some fun today talking all things interviews, whether you're the interviewee or the interviewer. Hope you got some good tips today. But at the end of the day, I think a big takeaway is make sure you prepare for an interview, practice your questions, and be yourself when you get in there. It's got to be a good fit for both sides. So just go in and be yourself, and the right fit will always find you.
All right, listeners on the loose, your challenge this week is to update your brag sheet. Take 10 minutes to write down 3 things that you did this year that you are incredibly proud of. Even if you aren't job hunting, you need to remember how awesome you are.
So what is the best or worst interview question that you've ever been asked? Go ahead and tag us on Instagram at Teachers on the Loose or on TikTok at TeachersOTL and share your story. We might just share it on a future episode.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, the right school is out there looking for exactly what you have to offer. Don't ever dim your light just to fit in a specific box.
So grab your favorite teacher blazer and meet us back here next week on Teachers on the Loose.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
And I'm Kristen.
And I'm Kristen.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Kristen.
I'm Allison.
I'm Celeste.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Kristen.
Have fun editing.